You have entered the Chronic through a rabbit hole, and Michael C., thank you so much for your Patreon membership request. You are bringing Ensiferum back down the rabbit hole, and today we'll be listening to A Warrior Without a War, and the intro little song from A Burden of the Fallen. I can't wait to get into this. This is going to be such a great treat. I love Ensiferum, and I am so excited to have them back down the rabbit hole.
Michael C. Chronicans, thank you so much for being here, and we're continuing our journey through the One Man Army album with Ensiferum here, so let's continue it together and have some fun. As mentioned before, we are continuing our full album listen to Ensiferum's One Man Army. The next track, Burden of the Fallen, is an interlude of less than 2 minutes. It continues into the following track, Warrior Without a War, which shares the same melodic theme, so they're intended to go together. The words continue the story of our warrior protagonist, who, having completed his war, is now, in his own words, silent. And I'm blocking the part I was supposed to read. Silent and empty.
Silent and empty.
I believe, Michael, you were saying there's a little bit of lyrics in this. This isn't a lyric video, but it's like pretty clean singing. So let's try to hear what they're saying in here as we are doing the Burden of the Fallen. I love those interlude type of songs, and there is a burden for the fallen, wouldn't you think? You can't get past that.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you lost and you didn't die, all that prisoner of war feel and all that too. That was magical.
It really was. It really made me think of my grandfathers have been in war. My great-grandfathers have been in war, I should say.
Okay.
So it really makes me think about what they went through. You know, coming home, you're a warrior without a war, and your heart is as empty as the battlefields lay empty.
Yeah, no kidding. And you can't turn it off, too. And there's nothing that can quench that guilt or whatever you have now from it. So. And
you can't really talk about it either.
Yeah, hard. People can't really relate with you the way that they need to. So, and where the world stage is right now, too, this war topics are intense even right now as well. So now we are doing Warrior Without a War, which actually is a nice contrast to what was being talked about there, too. So let's continue this. What an image!
I need
Loving
to
it.
pause this here because that was crazy, that lyric.
Okay, please do tell.
So, not the music is insane, but this lyric that came up is like, how are you going to leave the war, a hero or are you going to be a hero or are you going to be a warrior without a war? The hero that is now forgotten.
No kidding, right?
Because how many times there's some, like, even look at Remembrance Day and everything like that. We remember all the fallen, but we just went to go visit your granddad.
That's
and
the
we
image
saw,
that came to me too, honey.
That's the image, and there is a war veteran there in his wheelchair, still wearing his.
Sitting alone.
Sitting alone in a room, an empty room, alone.
Yeah.
As there's no one there around him, just the warrior without a war now left forgotten, as we're all like, yeah, look at all these men who died for us, all these heroes.
Yeah.
But then all these men who were in the same fight,
but just didn't die,
who came home
Yeah.
to their families, they didn't die, they didn't leave it on the battlefield,
Yeah.
and now they've been forgotten by those families that they came home to, as they're in their elderly age now, sitting in a position where they have no one to relate to, no one to talk to, alone in a room.
Sounds pretty purposeless and isolating too, and I'm sure they don't want war itself.
No.
Maybe back in the day a bit more, but they want something to contend with.
Yeah.
Really felt like a story on this, and like I know all their songs like have meaning to it and all that, but the lyrics really captured me on this one, and the music was damn amazing too. But for the lyrics to capture as well, I think to live as a hero or to live without a war, that it's such a contrast because that's just the purpose itself. Like I think that's all this is trying to address is the purpose in people's life, whether it is through war or whatever, and people wanting to have a memory. But then, while everyone wants to be remembered, their memories of what they went through are the things that are putting them through the pain. So it's this contrast that you're seeing in these lyrics of how you want to be remembered and what type of life you want to live. But on the musical side, incredible. They always transition very well. They have an incredible folky like type of guitar solos that I incredibly enjoy too. But again, this one really was the lyrics that stole the show for me.
Yeah, the lyrics on this one really stole the show for me as well. Like these, I have to say, I love just how consistent it was with how chuggy it was going through the whole song.
Yeah.
Kept that heartbeat going, kept you like rearing and ready to go into battle, especially with the image that we were looking at that whole
Beautiful
time.
Image there.
Beautiful imagery.
Yeah, with the dog even there.
With the dog. I love whoever made this lyric video, I really like that they made some of the lyrics red so that they stood out a bit more.
Yeah.
The importance of that lyric to that
yeah.
song. So like even having that slight little difference to pull your attention back into it in those moments was really great on a visual aspect of the video. But like again, this is such a great piece when it's talking about like how are you going to go, a hero or a warrior without a war. But then after that it said, because if you don't drown on your sword or die on your sword in the midst of battle,
yeah,
then the mountain of burden that you are going to take with you,
yeah,
the weight of the fallen that's now on your shoulders,
yes.
because you are the one who came home, and that kind of burden you don't like.
Some people can't live with, and maybe death at war would have been easier.
Yeah, but then you're also a hero in another way, because like you just said, the death at war would have been easier than carrying that burden at home.
Yeah.
And living with your families and the changes that happen to you when you're in those positions. Like the man who goes off to war is never the man who comes back from war. You don't get the same man back.
But supposedly back in those times, a lot of these people thought they go to like their heaven or whatever.
Valhalla.
If you die during battle, and like
absolutely.
Now the contrast is do a good life and you get eternal life. So like that's such a different view of how you get there.
Yeah. It's a different, and like even if you're talking about Valhalla was only for the warriors. If you were a mother or a child or just lived a good life, you go to the pure and fields.
Semantical for sure.
But yeah, difference. Yeah, but this was such a unique piece, but also not unique because it really is an Ensiferum song through and through, while being able to have such an amazing topic as well.
Absolutely, and if this topic continues, we will find out with the one-man army that we continue on this channel. Thanks to Michael C. Thank you so much for bringing it back to us. We can't wait to see the rest of this album. We love Ensiferum, everything they got to do for them. And if you did have a good time with us, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new and you want to see this album in completion. Go check out our other reactions to this album too. And we are now exiting the rabbit hole, folks.
Thank you so much, Michael C., for bringing this down the rabbit hole, and everyone else for being here. Peace and love, Chronicans.
God bless y'all.
Take care, and bye for now.
You made it to the end of the video. I want to say a special thanks to all of our members who've been supporting us for all of these years. And if you would like to get in a special request or support us, you can with our YouTube, Patreon, or Buy Me a Coffee memberships. Like to support the artist you just heard? Go up here.
Be like Slappy.